and welcome back to Bromley Wonders. Today we're going to be tackling the reportedly roughest street in the UK, possibly Birmingham, possibly the world, but if you listen to the Birmingham Mail, you know, pinch of salt anyway. But yeah, we're going to look at Slade Road, which has some bad rap recently, but I think it's on the up to a point. So all I want to do really is walk down there and show you the now and then kind of pictures and just how things have changed. But a good place to start, which is technically Streetley Road, would be the bingo, which I've mentioned in an old video when I did a video on the old Stockland pub over there, which I've got some news on. If we just flick around, we've got the old bingo hall, which used to be, I think it started life as a cinema, and it's been just bingo, bingo, bingo ever since. But now it is sadly closed down, dilapidated, and used as a 5G, possibly 4G mast. If anyone in the comments can tell me what the difference is, but I think that's 4G. And that's that. Other changes that, in my memory, are where the co-op is over there. That was a little row of shops like a Coral. There was the Birmingham Disco Centre, which I really can't find anything about online anymore, but I just remember those shops. I don't think there was a kind of off license or anything. I don't think that was going on, but maybe there was, because there was a Ladbrokes. So I'll try and find out. But here we'll start our little tour. There's an interesting little build. This end building, Adiva Aesthetics, is actually brand spanking new and was thrown up about maybe 3 years ago. And they've really done a good job of keeping that in line with the old kind of 19, possibly 30s kind of buildings. Maybe these are a little bit newer than that. But yeah, what a job. Very good. And it looked like it was just built by 4 blokes. It did really well. But yeah, it's this corner in particular. We might catch a quiet time now because the sun's out. But very, very crack-heady, alcoholic-y, thanks to the multiple off licenses and the Coral betting shop, which doesn't seem to show any signs of leaving. So, you know, it's a bit of a congregation area for the local wheelchair crackheads. But apart from that, it's still all right. Subway's been knocking about for ages. That Stockland Balti takeaway has been around for absolutely years, since I was born, I imagine. And yeah, not much change around here. The change that has occurred on the roads, well, now we swing to this view, there used to be a tram line that ran all the way from town, all the way down here, and all the way down there towards Erdington Road and Short Heath and all that. And in a past video we've touched on this, but the Middle Grass Reservation down there used to be the tram lines, which is pretty cool. But anyway, we're going to move on to down that way and have a look at Slade Road and what's changed down there. So looking at the Stockland here, which we did a video just when it had closed down, which is probably about 2 years ago now, maybe a year, I can't remember. Life's so fast. But no movement on the new build, but there is someone moving in, which I don't think I've touched on at all, and it seems to be a shisha lounge / restaurant with outside smoking area being applied for in the what do you call them? Can't remember now. Oh, the petitions, the planning permission kind of thing. There's a little sign up here which tells us what they're planning. It doesn't sound particularly bad. We always knew they were going to drop the alcohol side of things because of the, I mean, what we just talked about. There's just a lot of pissheads around here. But if you look there, we've got outdoor smoking area, shisha lounge on the first floor, and a general restaurant on the bottom floor. Changing use, which means it's dropping the whole public house thing, which is a shame, because as we've seen, this was a beautiful build by M&B, Mitchell and Butlers, back in the 1920s. It almost reached 100 years old, but didn't quite get there, which is sad. But it's just been boarded up since, like basically since the last video that I did on the Stockland and Erdington's history in, what was the video called? In Turmoil? I can't remember. But we can't really see anything. All these boards, there's a little gap here. Let's have a little look. There, you can't see anything. The electric chargers are still there. The pub's still there. It doesn't look like people have moved in, as far as, which seems to be happening. If you look at the cross keys down towards Erdington, it looks like that's just turned into housing on the sly. But hey, this one will hopefully survive that kind of fate. But it's nice. More windows have gone through those in the meantime, so I'm not sure what's going on there. But you know, maybe it'll turn out good, maybe. So yeah, worth keeping in mind that the tram lines ran down this entire road as we make our way down it, which kind of shows the change of use and how wide the road is or isn't at certain parts. But I think everyone looks back and thinks those were the days of glorious transport, and maybe we shouldn't have got rid of them, because obviously the trams made way for the invention of pneumatic tyres, you know, on grand scale. We Fort Dunlop just down the road. Buses were suddenly the way forward. So down here, Plaza Cars have been here since I was born as well, never really moved away. Very successful taxi company. All of these shops have changed over the times. I think I remember there being a Firkins bakery, a Scrivens opticians, and I think the butcher was a Walter Smith. Obviously all gone now. We have the Halal Butcher, we have the Supported Housing for Adults Centre, we have the, I think, Muslim school just there where the guy's just gone in the green doors. There's still an opticians, that's where Scrivens used to be. Chip Stop, probably the cheapest fish and chips you can get in the area. And Samra's has been there, the big corner shop on the end, has been there since I've been around as well. I think I learned judo with one of the sons back in the day. And Rapid Home Care, been here for yonks as well. That's where it's pretty much my only place you can actually buy tools now. I actually need an 11mm spanner, so I'm going to have a quick look. No, I can't, because I've got the dog. Okay, just here we have a church that's obviously been here since day one as well, right next to Stockland Green School, which is where I went, which doesn't exist anymore. They knocked down the 50s build, and now there's kind of a prison building for the new kids, which I haven't seen with my own eyes yet. But maybe one day. We have a daughter now, so we might check it out if we still live in the area. But Methodist Church, just there where I've attended many a church parade, and my mother used to run a playgroup from like the late, maybe the early thousands, all the way through to about 2015-16. And then, yeah, that's where I went to playgroup. So, you know, big load of history in the family around this end. The houses here, I'm not too sure on the history or if they were turned into HMO-ish kind of wellbeing centres, but the Mind Birmingham Centre and the Beechcroft Centre is just there at the back. So I think it was something to do with just helpful housing for the needy. And right next door, we have the Highcroft Community Centre, which, very big family ties there. My mum and dad are currently running the admin of the building and the maintenance, really, and it's doing very, very well. Worth checking out if you are local. Great rates on room rent and the like for all of your community-based needs, like Erdington Judo Club, Sunday service with the Christ Apostolic Church and Solace Centre, and all kinds of Slimming World and all those kind of things. And there's a pretty decent cricket ground there. This has all been tarted up. I think this is a new build. It used to be an older house, so I think that's a complete rebuild. It's very nice, very nice. Heading down here, these iron gates, it looks like they survived. Looks like they actually survived the collection of fences during the war when they needed all of the fencing, because this building does go back a fair bit, but don't quote me on that. It could be fairly new, like whenever the community centre popped up, which I'm going to guess is kind of late 60s. A lot of houses down here just running down slowly. You can check them all out on Google Maps, just the rate of dilapidation, which is kind of fun to do. Hampton Road just down here. I believe there's a bit of a drug and prostitution problem down there, but again, don't quote me, I'm not too sure. So down this bit, just a little bit further down the road, we've got all the post prefabs, which still represent the prefabs, the post-war housing that was thrown up at the time, which I'm sure you can still see at Avon Museum if you want to go and see a real one. But there's actually some over Bourneville way, I believe, that are still in use, and they sell for good money now. They're kind of listed buildings, considering they were essentially, I mean, late day freight containers. But they kept them on this kind of single story, small plot of land kind of idea, and now it's home to mostly old people, I think. But they're still pretty cool, but you know, they ain't cheap for what they are, and I don't think they're particularly massive. So we'll keep heading down. What do you reckon to the reports of it being super rough? Do you agree? I don't think it's that bad. I think the worst days have been and gone, and now it's on the kind of on the up, really, based on the, you know, a new community has moved in the last kind of 40-50 years. Big change in the area. And I think personally, I know it's good to look back at the old photos and they're all sepia toned and beautiful, but you really can't take in the actual vibe. I know, like, there is an idea that all of the past was happy, happy, good, good, but I know a lot of people were struggling. Single moms abound because of the post-war situation, and yeah, all the shops were small and independent, but at the same time, does that mean you were getting the best deal at the time? Probably not. But my dad had a butcher's down here, so really I'm part of the kind of historic fabric, my little family. And he's got some interesting stories. I think it was Chatwin's, which we'll get to down the road because that's a bit further towards the end of Slade. But we'll have a look at what that is now. But yeah, it's all very still in use, which is probably the best thing to see. I know there's new people around and new ideas and new communities, but at the end of the day, the whole place would be abandoned if not. So I think it's good to see it alive and well, and it is technically thriving. There's shops everywhere. There's not many closed shops at all. I mean, you decide if these are legit businesses or not. I think most of them actually are, but who can know? But ultimately, it's not one of your closed down shopping. I mean, it's a shopping centre in its own right these days, and it's certainly not on its way out. But again, you decide. We are getting to the busier bit now though, so as far as all the reports of it being awful, I don't think it's particularly bad. And myself, I've never had a problem down here, but there's always today. I don't know how they do with filming around here, but I know a few people have already been here to interview the locals and ask them about what's happening, how's everything going. But big shout out to Kay's Auto Parts there. That's where I do buy all my car bits, and he's a bloody legend. They can get you sorted in next day kind of delivery of any parts you do need, especially on the older cars. It's a hard road to cross. Okay, let's go. Hayes big changes. Yeah, that shop had a massive rebuild in like the last kind of 5 years, and it's bloody nice. Did a great job on it. Don't know if I can get any old photos of how it all used to look around here, but it's really nice. So moving on. So we actually have, probably one of the last independent cobblers and trophy engravers to exist in the area, but I do believe he's finally gone now. And I did get a pair of boots stretched by him just before he left. So I feel like at least I tried. But I think the days of getting your shoes repaired are well behind us. So, bit of a shame. But as we move on into the more shoppy bit now, yeah, it does change. But again, I think it could be much worse than what we've been left with. So, on with the look. Not sure how much a house would be around here, but that one's up for sale. That's number 292. So we'll check the prices on that and see what we're playing with. They're big old houses. And again, I've been through this before. These are the kind of houses that are so big, I'd say your standard old school white working class family probably can't afford them anymore, and actually don't need that amount of room, and they're really too expensive to run. Whereas the new community, they do use the houses for all generations of their family essentially, so they can make use of the houses, which means they do put time into fixing them up, doing them up, fancying them up, and then all of a sudden you've got another at least 50 years out of a house that was probably going to go dilapidated anyway. So these are my thoughts. Not sure how long Cherrywood Signs has been down, but that's been there since I was really young as well. There's another corner shop just down here that used to be a motorcycle shop called Frank's, or Hank's. I think Frank was the dad. And again, that was probably one of the last independent, proper old school motorbike fixing and parts sellers, shops, whatever. And this is what I was just talking about. So this grey building next to Rugby House used to be Hank's, the motorcycle shop, which is definitely still going to be on Google Earth, so we'll bring that up, just how it used to look. But now I believe that's all housing it's a nice little retrofit. It does look good. It's right opposite the, I'm not sure what that is, the Kibala Hard Hat Sawi's mosque thing. I'm not too sure myself how you pronounce that. But right here's Rugby House. Now I'm not sure in my memory whether that's the butcher's that my dad tried to open as an independent once he left Chatwin's, which was just down the road here. But I'll have to catch up with him on that. But that's my idea. In my mind's eye, that's where his shop was. I don't know. It says Rugby House, bed and breakfast. Not sure if that's housing now as well. It very much might be. But yeah, it's still, like, I don't know if you've noticed, but none of these shops are closed down. They're all, I mean, they might be closed now, but it's a pizza shop. It'll be open later. Dixie Chicken and all that. Turned into a proper local legend, that one. There's some conspicuous stories of the rear alleyways and just how clean the storage is for the food there. And are the fridges on? No one knows. But we've got Haji Ghani's, that used to be the Archie's chip shop, in my memory. Used to go there quite a bit, but at the same time, I don't know, for me, it got a little bit pricey. And I'm stingy like that. Doesn't mean anything about the quality of the food there. Didn't have any complaints, but I did think the doner meat tasted a bit like pies. But moving on, we've got some more residential. Not quite as tidied up this end. I'm sure we've got photos of this. I'll try and throw up old photos of every step of the way, if I haven't already. Now, as far as I'm aware, actually, this house here with a double grade door, that belongs to a local councillor's family. And this councillor used to run HMOs of his own in the area, which is a contentious point in general anyway around here. So if you read the reviews on the housing that was provided by this guy, not the best. The tenants weren't looked after to the highest tier. Lots of reports of keys never being really swapped, so like people would move in and then people who used to live there just taking all their shit because they've got keys to their houses. But this is all conjecture. I don't know, it's just reviews. Maybe he had a personal issue, but that's all I know. Okay, we're moving on a little bit more, and I just want to bring it up again. Do you think this is a rough, horrible road? Haven't had any issues. I've had a few stares by filming, but you get that anyway. The city centre's much worse for it. But we're moving on to the corner that meant a lot to me during my kind of teenage, 9 to 10 to 11 and beyond days. Literally, there just used to be a chip shop called Lahori's on this corner. It's now Shake House, but Lahori's back in the day. Oh no, oh, my memory's starting to fail me. Was Lahori's Triple B? I think it was. Hang on, I'm going to get a proper wide angle here. So Triple B's there, a very short-lived enterprise. I ordered from the day it was open, and it was all right. Very small kind of smash burgers. But that used to be Lahori's, and it was my favourite kebab shop in the whole world. Me and my mate back in the day, who used to live very locally, we were known to buy 2 kebabs in the same day, and these were large kebabs too. And the magic of the customer service in there was he would absolutely load you up with sauce, and like, it was so heavy, the large kebab box, by the time you got home we felt obliged to weigh ourselves whilst holding the kebab box, and weigh ourselves after eating it, and then of course weigh ourselves once we've deposited of that food the day after. And it was never the same, but I think sometimes those kebab boxes did weigh way over 1 kilogram, you know, and a lot of it was sauce. But anyway, rest in peace Lahori's, what a place. This corner here, I can't really remember what was here. I think it's always been like a carpet shop, but now we've got phone repairs, we've got car parks, there's MOT centres and garages and spare tyres over there. So it's like a little community of its own fixing cars. And the only thing I can really note, I mean, just down there you can see the Slade Road School, where my mum actually attended in primary. And some of her friends are still local actually, but some of, like, they're in America now, living a dream. Anyway, next to that we have the old Brookvale pub, built in 1934. Now my granddad used to be a proper local to that one, and I'd never actually had time to go in myself, didn't go in there as a kid. The only anecdotal story I have was, I think my mum and dad were in there. There used to be boxing matches and all kinds. But they were in there anyway. Some guys pulled up in his car at the time and said, do you want to just take it for a spin, or something along those roads, like, you know, it's a nice car, do you want to give it a go? It was nice, who knows. But then it ends up they take it around the general area. Then it turns out there was a murder weapon in the boot. And I think the murder weapon was actually a converted walking cane belonging to the car owner, and yeah, people had been killed by that very cane, which is interesting. I'm sorry I'm rattling through this. I feel a little bit rushed because the timer on this bloody memory card isn't great. So we'll just head up here. That is Slade Road. What do you reckon? Worst things have happened, I think. And I think anything that is awaiting redevelopment round here will happen eventually, just like many houses up here. And it's, you know, getting used to the change. I don't think it has to be particularly the worst thing in the world. Things are getting upgraded, things are getting fixed. And here's to the future, really. I've been a Brummie Wonders. Thanks for joining me. That's been Slade Road, Erdington. I hope you enjoyed it. Comments below of any of your stories or history or facts about the area, and whether you used to frequent here in the old days, or are you a frequent user now? Let me know. It's an interesting conversation. And I will say, I wish I bought that garage. What a space. Right, that's that. Ta-ta.